a soft way to explain it, right? But that's a correct answer. That's correct.
It's on. You little. You're gonna be on your ass. Right. Something might happen to you. You frail. How much you weigh? How much you weigh? Yeah, how much you weigh? Yeah. Think about that. 115 grown men, you in there with a grown man, 200 pounds, doing life. Yeah. They ain't never coming home. It's just anything. I mean,
nothing to lose.
Nothing for somebody with nothing to lose.
And some of us, we don't like hearing that type of stuff, but this is real. Like, man, this is real stuff right here. What we're talking about. This is serious, man. I took time out my day to come try to save some lives. And I got friends who never were in trouble growing up. They made some wrong choices. They doing 9 years for, charges that weren't even that serious. Like they giving you 9 years for running from the cops and hitting the cop in a car. Like first time getting in trouble. Spent his whole 20s in jail, and then all his friends that he hung out with in Lincoln Heights and Madisonville, none of them came see him. He said I was the only one that came saw him. And we just hooped together. Like I wasn't like in the streets with him. We just hooped together every weekend. Them guys yearn for people to come see them. Most of the time people forget about them. So what does this picture look like? How does it make you feel when you see it? Boxed in, what up?
Isolated.
How that bed feel? I mean, look at that. But okay, that's a good point. So if you tall, you want what? You can't go ask them like, hey, can you change my bed, right? You have to. Okay, you have to shrivel up. What if you got a roommate? Like, say you got a roommate, like you ain't got no privacy. Right there. So somebody made an interesting point about jails being like having some stuff to do with mental health issues. And one quote said, our jails have once again become surrogate mental health hospitals. What does that mean? Any thoughts on that?
Putting everybody on meds, they telling you that just because you got energy, they telling you that you got ADD, that's putting you on some type of drug to calm you down. Just because you might like to speak out, you might just don't go for everything. You might not, they want you to be sheep. So they put you on drugs. I got friends right now. I got friends I was in there with. They put them on high level, like high dose drugs. Like, and out here, they putting it out here like cocaine and heroin and stuff like that. They putting you on certain drugs that you gonna be hooked to, like, and they doing this on purpose, just to keep you a certain type of way. They turn people into zombies with drugs in there. It's like, it's actually crazy.
And it's just at this point, it's just a temporary fix. It's just a temporary fix. Being locked up, because if you are not getting any type of therapy, counseling, anything to transform your mindset while you're there, you're gonna come back twice as bad, or you're gonna come back not reformed, doing the same thing that you did before, taking others with you, and then just adding to the loop.
They said that 70% of youth juveniles have a diagnosable mental health disorder. 60 may also meet the criteria for substance disorders. So Lantana mentioned that as well, that you're on a drug maybe, then when you get in there, they just feed it, then this is a large number out of population. We talking about hundreds of thousands of youth out there. This serious stuff, you guys. I'm trying to protect you. What's some new forms of slavery that keep people trapped in these systems? I gotta move through this fast, so this is normally a lot longer presentation. I gotta get through this fast. I wanna, give our guest speakers some time to talk. And then I also wanna have you guys ask us questions so we can try to answer in the best possible way. But who's heard of like Section 8? Why was it created? Anybody know?
To keep poor people together.
Well, actually, during the war, I think the president was Theodore Roosevelt. When people were coming back from war, some of the veterans couldn't find jobs, they were struggling. So they created a Section 8 voucher program to help people get off their feet, but it's never meant to stay there your whole life. It was a temporary help. It was a temporary boost. But now they created to where they telling you where you can stay. Name the projects in Cincinnati. I know you guys know some of them.
I don't know, but say,
Okay.
Wind Terrace, yeah.
Yeah. So why can't they live in like Evendale? Why can't they put you where they want to put you, right? Is that slavery? Y'all talking to me? It's a different form. Slavery can sometimes come. It could be mentality. It could be passed down through generations. It doesn't have to be necessarily a physical thing. So they also profit from prisoners. I went to visit my friend. And I spent 5 hours with him talking to him, and he told me they have him in Chillicothe, going to do cheap labor on the farm. He's been on pretty good behavior, so they allow him to leave. And guess what the farmers are getting? Cheap labor.
Right.
They give him like $2 for a day. He was out there 10 hours. They out there making license plates and all different type of products. But they only give you
56 cents an hour. 56 cents, 80, 56 cents. Like, they'll pay you that for a day, like 56 cents. Like you'll work for a whole month, make a license plate, and then they put it on your books as $5. You're not gonna be here to come up with something ridiculous like this.
You know, when I went to visit my friend, they had a vending machine. And man, I think I brought like $60 on me. I spent all 60 on him. I mean, that made him so happy to have Grippos and just the little things we take for granted just getting from the corner store.
It's all a part of somebody else's slavery system that you just don't see. It ain't slavery like we see it slavery. The prisons were designed for our people, for the states to run. But now private organizations have them. So now that's how they profiting on them. They see you, they say, oh, you can't read by 3rd grade? We're gonna build a prison for you. We're gonna build a prison for you, just because you can't read by the 3rd grade.
Yeah. And it's
That's
true.
how they do it, like, seriously.
They also make you pay for stuff now, like phone calls and tube socks. How they charging inmates for little stuff like that? So I had a teacher one day tell me, and I was bad. I mean, growing up, I don't even know why I had all this anger. You know, I don't even want to fight people and think that's the way I can handle myself. And one day he said, Ashley, you gotta stop believing the story that's been told about yourself. So at that point, I was living a story that somebody, oh, you got anger issues. So guess what I had? Anger issues. Anybody ever told you something and you just ran with it? I remember I worked at the children's home. I had a kid literally sneak a lock, put the top of the lock to kind of make a brass knuckle, and went up and hit a kid off guard while we watching a movie. Why you do it? My bipolar made me do it. I can't believe your bipolar made you go pick up a lock, wait for like 30 minutes till the lights off, and go hit somebody like that. Knock him unconscious. I mean, he was your age, 16, 15 years old. So if we look, who wants to read for me real quick? Go ahead, read that for me. This right here.
abolish slavery in the United States, but provide an exception in cases where persons have been duly convicted in the United States and territory it controls. Slavery or involuntary servitude can be reimposed as a punishment.
What can be reimposed? Slavery. So basically, they out of slavery, they found another way to enslave you. This is in the Constitution of our country. That if it's written right there, guys, I'm not like making this up. It's right there. You can look up the amendments. Basically, they take away your constitutional right to be free, and they titled it what we're talking about. That's what they titled it, slavery. It can be imposed on you, or involuntary servitude. So, who wants to read this real quick? Go ahead.
Behind Bars in America, 2008, published by